Welcome to LobbyComply Pod from State and Federal Communications, your source for lobbying, compliance, ethics, campaign finance, and election news from across the country. Hi, this is Joe May, and I have with me today one of our experts, Ryan Silvestro. Ryan, why don't you introduce yourself?
Yes, Joe, it's nice to be here. My name is Ryan Silvestro. I am a research manager here at State and Federal Communications. So I'm here today to talk about some restrictions and prohibitions on political contributions from lobbyists. As the 2024 elections are approaching and are just around a corner, this is an important topic. You and your government affairs department may have plans to contribute to political candidates. Prior to making these contributions, it is important to know what restrictions are placed on lobbyists. Tennessee, for example, prohibits lobbyists from making personal political contributions. Maine also allows lobbyists to contribute only in races they are able to vote on in the election. Other jurisdictions restrict when, how, or how much a lobbyist may contribute.
You mentioned both restrictions and prohibitions. Can you speak a bit more about certain types of restrictions?
Absolutely. So the first is a ban on contributions during session. This is the most common approach to regulating political contributions from lobbyists, and it is meant to limit when contributions may be made. Typically, this means lobbyists will be prohibited from contributing while the legislature is in session. However, in some jurisdictions, the restricted period may start prior to the convening of the session and extend through a period after adjournment. So, for example, Connecticut extends the ban to emergency, veto, or extraordinary sessions, while Louisiana does not. Session bans may also reach entities affiliated with lobbyists. For example, in North Carolina, the session ban applies to lobbyists, lobbyist principals, agents of lobbyists, PACs employing or contracting with lobbyists, and PACs whose parent entity employs or contracts with a registered lobbyist.
That's great information. Do you have any suggestions or tips that would help someone know of and comply with these restrictions?
Yes, I do. So first, you should know if your jurisdiction's legislature is in session. That will matter. If so, you may be prohibited from making a political contribution. Also be aware that the restricted period may start prior to the legislative session convening and extend through a period of time after adjournment.
What else can you tell us about other restrictions and prohibitions that might be relevant?
Well, there are activities beyond making direct contributions which may be restricted. Some jurisdictions with session bans also prohibit a lobbyist from soliciting or promising to solicit political contributions. In Maryland, a lobbyist may not solicit or transmit a political contribution from any person, this includes a corporation or PAC, for the benefit of statewide and legislative officials and candidates. Thus, a lobbyist may not sign off on or even hand deliver a contribution. In Alaska, lobbyists are prohibited from delivering contributions, directly or indirectly collecting contributions, or participating in fundraising activities for a legislative or gubernatorial candidate campaign. I can go ahead and provide another tip that might be helpful here. Restrictions on political contributions from lobbyists may extend to activity beyond making direct contributions, as I said. Always check to see if your jurisdiction has restrictions on soliciting, exercising control over, or delivering contributions to candidates or their committees.
What about contribution limits? Can they be different for lobbyists?
Yes, they can. Some jurisdictions specifically limit how much a lobbyist may contribute or limit how much a candidate may accept from lobbyists in the aggregate. In Massachusetts, for example, a registered lobbyist contribution limit is $200 in the aggregate to any one candidate per calendar year, while other lobbyists can contribute up to $1,000 per candidate per calendar year. In Connecticut, no lobbyist member of the lobbyist immediate family or political committee established or controlled by a lobbyist or member of the lobbyist immediate family may make contributions in excess of $100 to statewide and legislative candidates. So another great tip that I have for you here, there are penalties for violating political contribution restrictions. A violation could result in the revocation of a lobbyist registration, a fine, a misdemeanor, or even a felony conviction. So before putting your message out there, know the registration and reporting implications to avoid these fines and other penalties. State and Federal Communications has their online publications and resources that provide this information, and more so you can confidently state, I comply.
Ryan, thank you so much for joining us on LobbyComply Pod. That'll wrap up this episode.
Thank you, Joe.
Thanks for listening to LobbyComply Pod from State and Federal Communications. For more news, visit lobbycomply.com. To learn more about how we can guide you along the road to compliance, visit stateandfed.com.